How are we feeling, Lakers fans? We sent home the Houston Rockets in 5 games, man, and it's wonderful. Like it's everything that I thought that we had to do, what needed to be done. We sent Mike D'Antoni home. We sent James Harden home. We sent Russell Westbrook home. And a lot of you Rocket fans were talking a lot of shit after game 1, thinking that you guys were going to be able to take this series. A lot of you Harden fans thought Harden was Kobe. He's not. Don't ever mention James Harden and Kobe's breath again. James Harden is not who you think he is. There's a reason why we call him small game James. He's not Bean. So don't ever mention Kobe, Bean, Bryant with James Harden again. That is disrespectful to one of the greatest players to ever play this game. To a man that's hosted 5 Larry O'Brien trophies above his head. There's a reason why Kobe is Kobe and why James is this. So just do not ever compare Kobe and James Harden again. And this is going to be a fun episode because we just sent home Mike D'Antoni. One of my first memories of being able to legally drink was at Yard House in Fresno. We fired Mike D'Antoni in, I believe, 2013, 2014. This is one of the first nights I was able to legally drink after I turned 21. We fired this guy. And I ordered beer after shot after beer after shot because we fired this guy. Like, fuck Mike D'Antoni. He and his wife had a lot to say after the Lakers let him go. And once he took a job with Houston, and he had all these things to say about. I believe that he and his wife are saying that they're in a happy place now that they beat the Lakers after one of the games, and the Lakers were like in the lottery. The Rockets were not in the lottery, and he just won like Coach of the Year. But I hope you enjoyed 5 games. You got gentlemen swept like the Blazers did, so cool. Your team put up as much a fight as the Blazers did, where Dame was hurt almost the entire series. They didn't have Zach Collins the entire series, but hey, I'll give a quick shout out to Blazer fans. You guys did not bitch about Zach Collins and other players like Trevor Ariza not being in the rotation, where Rocket fans made Daniel House out to be like Tracy McGrady. I did not know Daniel House's name was spelled with a U. I had no idea. That's how little basketball fans care about Daniel House. Yet you made him out to be Tracy McGrady, where Blazer fans dealt with Zach Collins and Trevor Ariza not playing. They took it in stride. They took it where they wanted their superstars, their perennial all-stars to carry the team. Where you guys have 2 MVPs. You guys have Russ. You guys have Harden. Yet you complained about Daniel House not being able to play basketball. And you guys lost in 5 games. Cool. Do not ever, I don't care. Do not ever put Harden in the top shooting guards ever to play again. Don't even put him in Wade's category. Don't even put him in Drexler's category. And this is just the rules. I am so excited to see the Lakers advance to a conference finals. I haven't seen them do that since 2010. I was 18 the last time that happened. I'm 28 now. It's been a long time. For Laker fans, we've gone through the highs and the lows since 2010. We've seen LeBron and Anthony Davis run our favorite team. We've seen our GOAT pass away. We've seen Jordan Clarkson, Ryan Kelly, Robert Sacre, etc. play for our team. We've seen us win 17 out of 60 or 17 out of 82 games. We've been here. We've been here since my first time as a fan was 2000. My first time as a fan was when Kobe lobbed it to Shaq. I was 8. I was 8 when that happened. Since then, I've been a fan since. This is one of the first times where I can legally drink, do a podcast, talk to you guys, and just chill with you guys as fans. I am nowhere without the people that watch the show. Again, shout out to all of you guys that follow at King Watch LA, at YouTube, HNB Media TV. No, we're not going to respect the Rocket fans. Not at all. You guys, A, we're not worried about LeBron or AD. B, bitch about every foul call, even when you guys got more free throws at the end of the game than the Lakers did. All you guys do is complain. That's it. I've never heard any Rocket fans decipher what actually happens on a basketball court besides Scott Foster and the refs. That's it. That's all I know about Rocket fans, which is sad to see. We didn't have to deal with this with Blazer fans. And we'll give a quick introduction to my guy, Pavy. What is up, my guy?
How you feeling, man? What's up, man? What you got for me, bro? What you got for me?
I needed you to be on this podcast because I'm already pretty drunk. I watched this game with our roommate, and we took shots. We drank the entire game.
It was no stress involved. I actually linked up with a friend I hadn't seen in a minute, and we was they had they be having 90-minute limits because of COVID. I'm watching. I'm like, it don't even matter, yo. The 90 minutes fine. Is by halftime, it was clear that this was not going to be really within the first 9 minutes it was not going to be a contest.
Yep.
So you had time.
No, we were. I was drunk by the second quarter. So I was I knew I had to get a co-host on this episode or else it was going to go off the rails. So I'm very happy that you joined this because, yeah, like you said, first quarter, we were up 20. And I was like, as long as they do not get within 5, this won't ever be a game.
Even if they would have got within 5, who cares? Just the Rock, the one thing I've said in I've tweeted it a million times about these playoffs is there's no great offensive teams left, as including the Rockets. There's not a single team that I just think got so many offensive juggernauts that it don't matter what they do defensively. I think all these teams left play defense better than what they play offense. And coming into this series, it was people can disagree with it, but it was a fact. The Rockets had the best defense in the bubble. Coming into this series, they had the best defense in the bubble. Outside of game 1 and periods in between in the series, they never really played defense. And when they did defend, they would get back in the games. And then they would just stop defending again. And the Lakers, I actually want to say this on the show because all year I've said I don't think the Lakers can beat the Clippers. I have changed my mind. I think they can. I think they can because the Clippers still at times do not show the commitment to defense that I think that they need to show. And I think that the Lakers, even Bron had his best defensive series in 7 years. I ain't seen LeBron play defense like that since he had to guard D Rose.
Yep.
He played some of his best defense of his career in this series.
Yep. So
to me, it's like the Lakers have made the commitment to being the best defensive team on planet Earth. I don't know if the Clippers still have made that. They just, even last night with the Nuggets game, that shouldn't have happened, bro. What? Just defend somebody, bro. Guard somebody. When they guard somebody, they look scary. But the Lakers consistently, outside of certain game 1s, they have made the commitment to defense. And Rondo, can you please?
I've already apologized, and I will apologize to you. Rondo made a difference in games 2, 3, or 4. We are down 1-2, 1-3. If tonight. He wasn't.
Nobody made it. Everybody made a difference tonight.
But game in the series games where it swings a series 2, 3, and 4, Rondo swung the series.
I'm gonna tell you what he did in game 2 that low-key won the series. Remember when Russ picked up that 5th foul because of that charge call? It swung the series. Because if I'm not mistaken, I think the Rockets were either up by 2 or maybe it was somewhat tied. But then he takes that charge. Russ actually should have just fouled out the game, but obviously Russ isn't gonna do that because Russ and I mean he's right. He's MVP candidate. Obviously, if he's on the floor, you assume he's gonna help your team win. He didn't in that game, but you assume he's gonna help your team win. But when he picked up that foul because of the way that they run their rotations, then Bron just got to switch on Russ every time. And it was really nothing Russ could actually do. That was the series turning play to me when Rondo picked up that charge on Russ.
Yeah.
Even game.
When Rondo came back, Vogel had to coach.
Yeah.
Because you have to figure out how to make Rondo successful on the court. And with Rondo coming back, Vogel learning how to coach, that's when we had to take a center out. We had to realize JaVale and Dwight weren't playing the rest of the series when Rondo came back.
Yeah.
If Rondo would have kept playing with JaVale Dwight in the game, he would not have looked like playoff Rondo.
I can agree with that.
It goes hand in hand with taking a center out and playing Rondo. So like I'm wrong with playoff Rondo. I wish that he would never have a clipboard now. But if Vogel never makes that switch, we're probably not having this conversation. If Vogel keeps Dwight or JaVale in the game with Rondo, it's not looking pretty.
No. Vogel did a great job. Like even what I was saying about the Harden thing, like no, they didn't stop Harden, but what they did was make sure the Rockets didn't even take threes. Like what was it? Game? What was it? 4 when they only was 3? I think they only took like
30.
33s. Like if they was like, okay, well, Harden, whatever, we know he's gonna get in the paint. Harden can score whatever, that's fine. We're just gonna take away everybody else. You guys not even gonna be able to shoot threes. They did a great job rotating. They were on a string defensively. Like again, but again, Vogel's a good coach. Like Vogel. I mean, those early. I think the Magic years kind of soured the way people feel about Vogel. But it's Orlando, bro. What you want him to do in Orlando? When you saw Vogel have a good team, he gave you results, and that was in Indiana.
Tonight, so I watched it with my roommate who never watches basketball. I had to describe to him why the Lakers were allowing the Rockets to shoot twos over threes.
Yeah.
And so that was a fun experience for me because I'm like, we can live with them attacking the rim, with PJ Tucker, Jeff Green trying whatever it is over AD in the paint, because I'll live with that. If they make that over Anthony Davis, cool. I had to explain to him why we were closing out very fast on three-point shooters. And this is why I said we don't have Lou Dort, but like we don't have Steven Adams. We don't have Shai. We don't have Chris Paul. We have length. We can bother these guys. They can't shoot over us over a 5, 6, 7 game series.
No. I didn't disagree with that point. I just said Harden wasn't gonna get stopped, and he didn't. Like Harden had a cool series. Like even when people talk about, I know we could disagree about game 4 all we want to, but he took 20 free throws. If somebody fouls you 20 times, that means you were doing something effective. You were working somebody out. Like Harden was cool. The issue to me was that one, the Rockets didn't make a commitment to playing defense. They didn't, outside of like spots. And then defensively, the Lakers were incredible. They played great. They didn't even let them shoot threes.
Which is why I didn't care about not having Lou Dort, because we have other defenders.
Which is fair.
We have AD who can rotate. We have LeBron, like you said, who played one of his best defensive series I've seen in a long time.
Ever, honestly. One of them ever.
We saw Caruso. They said Harden, Westbrook, Dame, and CJ were going to kill Alex Caruso. But Alex Caruso never got played off of a game.
No, never. Nah, but Caruso is a solid, like you may score on him, but he'll make you work to score. Yeah. It's not like you just going, like you'll live with Caruso's defense. Like even if somebody gives Caruso 40, I'm pretty sure that they work very hard for that 40 points, and you'll live with that. It wasn't like he was just out there, Caruso not gonna get, like you said, played off the floor. That's he's not gonna do that.
Well, I didn't care that we didn't have Lou Dort, because we have superstars on this team, unlike OKC.
I'm just saying, Lou Dort did the best individual job I've ever seen any human being ever do on James Harden. That was different. That's all. That was different. That's all I was saying. He did get sent home.
It's like
they did get sent home.
Okay, I want to transition to a thing where Dame and CJ sent the Lakers to as many games as Russ and Harden.
Yes.
Do you feel any differently about James Harden after this playoffs as he did last year?
No, not really. Because, like, again, my whole thing with the Rockets, the reason why I thought the Rockets had potential because of defense. They didn't play defense. Also, Russ, it's like, I don't think we got the best version of Russ, but obviously, Russ coming off an injury, getting inserted into the playoffs after not playing in 4 months. Like, I want to be harder on him, but at the same time, I can be hard on his decision-making. Because his decision-making in some of these games was god-awful. Like, I literally looked up. I remember me and TBJ was on the podcast. I'm like, yo, I wonder if he dealing with, like COVID. Is it like cognitive decline? Like, what are you doing? Because some of the decisions he made were terrible. But as far as his play, it's like, it's a tough situation. Like, again, you had COVID, so you weren't even really able to get in shape. You come back in the middle of the Thunder series, and again, they traded away Clint Capella for Russ. So if Russ isn't at 1,000%, it's not going to work the same. So no, I don't really feel no different. It just, they didn't play defense. It's what it comes down to. Like, for instance, game 4, when people say, oh, like the size. Bro, Rondo and Danny Green had half of the Lakers' offensive rebounds. They the smallest people on it. Rondo was the smallest person on the court.
Yep.
That shouldn't happen. That ain't got nothing to do with size. You just did not make the commitment to doing the things that you need to do. So I don't really feel different. I think that maybe for Rockets, they might break the team up because of the fact that it's just a very expensive team. Like it's not that I don't think that maybe you give it back next year, maybe you get to it's just very expensive. Like you got.
You ready to dab the Kobe and Harden takes?
What?
That how many people say that Harden is just as good as Kobe?
No, but he never was though. Like I was never on board with that. Like I was never on board with that. Like he doesn't score when we talk about scoring in basketball. There is not that this may be because of scheme or whatever, but there is not a spot on the court that Kobe can't score from.
Okay.
Period. Like I was never on board with that. I remember I didn't even have. I had as far as scores in the league, I've said many times. I think Kyrie's the best scorer in the league, and I think Kawhi's next, and then Harden. It's just areas on the floor that Harden legit don't use. Now that could be because of scheme or whatever. Like Harden is good for what he does. Like with what he does, he is the best ever at doing it. I don't think you see anybody utilize a step back the way he utilizes the step back. And he's great at getting mismatches too. Kobe never mismatch hunted. Kobe was like, all right, he guarded me tonight, bet 40. He do okay, cool, 40. Ruben Patterson, okay, 40. Shane Battier, 40. He wasn't trying to go out there trying to get screens and hunt for the best matchup and I'm gonna get the weakest defender. No, so I don't think that ever should have been a conversation. Now, if you want to say offensively, because offense is more than just scoring the basketball, we can talk. But in terms of scoring the ball, no, it was never. No, it shouldn't happen in conversation.
Yeah, and I would say even with winning basketball, it should never have been a conversation as well. Which I'm glad that you finally agree. Like we have it on air that you agree with that. Because I just wanted to make sure that you were on the same page.
Yeah, nah, it's not. Nah, it's but again, I'm somebody who talks about the art of scoring, which is why I said LeBron not a scorer. He can do it, but is he a flat down? No, not really. LeBron mismatch hunts. Like LeBron, not nobody where you like literally. If I was teaching my son how to play basketball, I could literally go grab Kobe footage and be like, look at his footwork, look at the way he's scoring a basketball. He gave a man 3 pump fakes. That's stuff that you can replicate no matter your size. You can do that. I wouldn't go grab a footage of LeBron and be like, all right, show my kids how to score watching LeBron footage, because some of it you can't replicate. Like Kobe is a technician. I think Kobe, skill-wise, arguably, when it comes to scoring, might be the most skilled scorer ever.
Yeah.
Arguably.
And I agree with that because
arguably
there's not been a better scorer skill-wise since MJ. And I would say Kobe's that. And if you want to say KD as well, because KD, even though he's very tall, he's very skilled as well with scoring the ball.
He is, but the reason why I would go Kobe over everybody is because Kobe didn't have the athletic ability that Michael Jordan had. So it's not like Kobe could just do a fadeaway and just jump over everybody and hang in the air until they come down. And then and this is not saying a fadeaway isn't a very difficult footwork move, but Kobe had to add a little bit more pump fakes, and also Michael Jordan got to his spots. Kobe didn't care where he was shooting from. He didn't care where he was shooting from. It wasn't no spot with Kobe. He was just out there pulling from whatever and making it work.
Can I ask, where were you 10 years ago?
10 years ago.
Yeah, where were you in 2010?
Like in September 2010?
Or May, August. Where were you the last time the Lakers have gone this far?
Oh man. I was in college actually. My freshman year of college was my freshman year of college. And I remember that series, actually, the finals, because I was in summer school.
Okay.
And I remember, I think the day of Game 7, we had class. So I remember I didn't see the first half, but I saw like the second half of Game 7. I think that's what happened. And I remember I was looking at my Facebook. I was actually looking on Facebook, and I was mad at Ray Allen that whole series. So Ray Allen must have been tripping that whole series, because literally everything on my Facebook is like, trade Ray Allen, get Ray Allen out of there. Ray Allen is tripping. So I'm assuming Ray Allen was terrible in that series for me to be saying that. So that's where I was 10 years ago.
Except for, I don't know if it was game 2 or 5, but he set like the finals record for threes.
Yeah.
I don't know what game that was, but that happened. But I haven't felt this level of excitement about Lakers basketball in 10 years. Like I've been here. And
I'm gonna give you one more. Lakers, Celtics, NBA Finals.
To me, to my heart, I can't handle that.
I think it's gonna happen.
Heat.
I really think it's gonna happen. I really think a Lakers Celtics NBA Finals are going to happen, and also I think it would obviously be great for the league, especially like a year like this with so much stuff has happened. I think Lakers Celtics NBA Finals, getting back. So I mean, that's the NBA. Like you talk about the NBA, that's the NBA. That's what we know it for, Lakers and Celtics. So I think it would be a great thing for the league. I want it to happen, and at this point, I actually do think it will happen. It took all year, but defensively, the Lakers have impressed me more than what the Clippers have. And I don't think either team are great. I don't think either one of those teams are great offensive teams. I think maybe you could argue the Clippers are a little bit better, but even they get funky. Like going back to it, Lou Williams is compromised because he's basically delegated to being a spot-up shooter. So I don't even think offensively that they utilize everybody the best because of the way that they play basketball. Defensively, they should be the best defensive team in the world, but they're not. The Lakers have looked like the best defensive team in the world in these playoffs. So I'm finally convinced. I think the Lakers can pull it off. So Lakers, Clippers,
and they know their role.
Yeah.
With Clippers, I don't think they do. Like you said with Lou Will, when you put the ball in Lou Will's hands in the fourth quarter, it takes it out of Kawhi's hands. And Kawhi has been nothing short of spectacular in the bubble and with the whole season. When Kawhi has the ball in his hands, I think the shot's going in every single time. When Lou Will takes a shot, I'll live with that because you also have to play defense on the other side, and Lou Will can't play defense.
Well, hold on, wait. I will say this: Lou has been competing defensively. He's low key been better defensively than he has offensively, especially in like the Nuggets series. Now, obviously, he has limitations because he's 6'2", 180 pounds, everything he can't do. But you can go out there and compete. So even I was going to jump on Doc yesterday when I felt like he went offense for defense because he did when he stuck Lou back in the game. But Lou was competing defensively enough to the level where it's like I could feel comfortable leaving you in a basketball game because at least he was competing defensively.
But when we look at offensive talent, the Lakers have gone through a bubble MVP and 2 MVPs. What do the Mavericks and Nuggets have compared to those? Nuggets, do you see a superstar on the court? I don't think so.
No, superstar, no. Stars, yes. Superstars, no.
With the Mavericks, once Kristaps Porzingis didn't play, all you had to do was focus on Luka. They didn't have anyone else.
I mean, I even think that they made Luka look like the second coming of Jesus because they didn't play defense.
And I love Seth. I love what that team can do around him, but I just haven't seen it with the Clippers. Offensively, they scare the hell out of anyone because all of their players on the court can score. There is no one on the court that they play besides Patrick Beverly that can't score.
Yeah, but their offense just gets funky at times because, again, like in order for Lou to be at his best, Lou needs the ball. Like you just can't stick Lou in the corner and, have him do whatever. Kawhi is great when he gets to his spots, but he has to get to his spots. Like he's not Kobe. Like Kobe's spot was everyone on the court. Kawhi's like for instance, when Kawhi shoots a three, I mean, like it's probably not going in because that's not his spot. If you can stop Kawhi from getting to those elbows and just show him bodies, you have a chance. PG, I think a lot of times the way that he's allowed to play hinders PG.
Yeah.
Like he'll be out there dribbling like he Kyrie. You can work closer to the basket sometimes. Like you don't like just because you can make threes all the time don't necessarily mean that you have to go out there and shoot them all. And also I think PG's 28 points last year was fool's gold. I think that good PG is 23.
Yeah.
With great defense. If PG's averaging 28, your team probably ain't that good. Trez, I like Trez offensively, but defensively sometimes he's a liability. So yeah, but at the same time, their offense gets funky because I don't know if everybody can excel at the same time.
Yeah. So I think that Marcus Morris might not be in the bubble next round, right?
Why?
The birth of his kid.
Oh, shit.
And this was reported, I think, a month and a half ago that he was going to leave the bubble for the birth of his kid.
Oh.
And so, Lakers fan as well. And the Morris twins have preached family over everything for as long as I can remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know if Marcus leaves, I wonder, does Markieff leave as well?
Great question.
Because they've preached family over everything for as long as I can remember from the Kansas days.
Great question.
I wonder if both leave since I didn't know because I believe Marcus or Markieff, I think one of them tested positive for COVID, right?
I think it was Markieff.
Okay,
Wasn't
because
Marcus. I think it was. Yeah, I think
I
it was
know
Marcus.
Marcus and Markeith were not practicing with either team before Orlando,
Yeah,
and we didn't know who tested positive. We didn't know what was going on, but we knew both players were not with their team, and
yeah.
they both basically traveled together to the bubble. So I wonder if they both leave for the birth of a kid and a niece or nephew.
Great question.
So I don't know how that swings the series, because as much as Marcus helps the Clippers, if you've watched the past 4, 5, 6 games the Lakers have played, Markeith is a game changer. He allows you to play whatever style of basketball you want to play.
Yeah, he's been great.
And the stats might not show it. And I know game 2, I think Markeith scored 14 points in the first quarter. And Rocket fans were like, we'll live with Markeith scoring 14. But game 3, he scored 2 points. I could have sworn he scored 10, 12 based off the way he played.
I
But
also think
he rotates, he plays defense, plays great man-to-man, and he provides spacing.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
that I do not think that the stats dictate how well he's played.
I can agree with that. Yeah, for sure. As far as who that would affect the most, I don't really know. Because, like, again, I want to say Marcus is a guy you can throw at LeBron, but I've seen what LeBron has done to Marcus Morris many a times in Boston. Like the lasting image of Marcus Morris grabbing LeBron and LeBron being undisrupted by him grabbing him and still laying the ball up comes to mind every time. But again, with the Lakers, you want bodies to be able to throw at Kawhi. You know, like you don't want LeBron to have to. Obviously, LeBron at some point will take that challenge, and I think he'll be fine. But you don't want him, taking that challenge for 40 minutes. You want him to be able to take that challenge for 5 or for 10 at a time. So I mean, that may be a wash for both teams, honestly, because I think both of those guys mean a lot to the success of their prospective teams.
So what do you think about the Lakers' inclusion of Talon Horton-Tucker?
I love it. Chicago guy. I think he can play. Like,
I had no idea he was from Chicago until
he went to Simeon. So same school D Rose went to, Jabari went to, Kendrick Nunn I think went to Simeon as well. He went there. I liked him on draft day. I like his measurables. I think his wingspan is like what I don't know what it is, but it's great. Wingspan. Who?
7'2".
Exactly. Like it exactly like a guard, 6'6" guard with a 7'2" wingspan. Those actually like Michael Jordan like numbers, really. I like him. He's not scared of the moment. I like the way he can handle the ball, so he can put the ball on the floor and also get to the rim. His shot seems to be, not great, but it's good enough. Where you can't just look at him shoot the ball. And again, defensively, I just like his measurables.
So like how you fell in love with Dort and Bazley, I think that's THT with more reps.
That's fair.
Tonight and last night, whenever he steps on the court, he does not look mismatched. It looks like he belongs on the court.
His measurables.
He struggles with overconfidence, which I would rather that from my 19-year-old than just passing up every open shot.
Facts.
Like he hit a 3 and he hit a layup against James Harden last game, and in the next 2 possessions, he shot a 3 from like 28 feet and tried to back down Harden and hit a fadeaway. I will take those possessions over him just passing up and cutting every single time.
I agree. I'd rather you be over because I can tone down over aggression. That means that you're competing, but I can't make you compete.
And I think the Lakers found a deal with him. He's on the deal. He's on the books for the next 2 years. I believe it's like $1.5 million each year. Yeah, and the Lakers also have Caruso for next year as well at, I believe, $2 million, which next to LeBron and AD, you're going to need value contracts if you want to pursue numbers 17 and 18. And I want to get your thoughts on Alex Caruso. What has he proven to you within the first 2 playoff series?
I mean, he's proven what I already knew. I just think he's a good defender. As long as you don't try to use him as like a point guard. Like I don't think he should be like running your offense, setting up your offense. That's not him. He is a undersized 2 guard. I think he can, hit a 3 every now and then. I think he can, but really what he brings is good defense.
Yep.
He's not going to put up gaudy defensive stats. Like he's not going to get 3 steals, but he's going to be in the right position and he's going to make it tough on people. Yep. And I can live with that, and I like that. So, yeah, I mean, Caruso has shown me what he showed me in the season. He's just a quality basketball player. He's never going to be a star. He's not some superstar, but he's a guy who will be in the league for 10 to 12 years. because
next to LeBron, because he does everything well next to LeBron that you need a player next to LeBron to do.
He's like
make that person make a move on offense. Caruso will make you he will give up something and he will make you go to the left. LeBron can over rotate, anticipate what's coming after that. And he will also cut on offense.
To me, he's like
cutters on offense.
To me, he's like not as good of a version of Larry Hughes.
Okay.
Remember when Larry Hughes played with Bron? He was a little bit undersized 2-guard, but he was a more so defensive-minded guard. He could put the ball on the floor. I don't remember if he could really shoot the ball like that, but people weren't really shooting the ball like that really too much anyway. And he played with Bron. I think he's like a not as good of a version of a Larry Hughes.
And I would have said not as skilled version as Derek Fisher.
That's fair.
Just because Fisher, anytime he needed to stop, anytime he needed a shot, Caruso was there. And I'm not going to say Caruso needs to make that game-winning shot, but he hit that dagger 3 over Harden, and I love that. For him, confidence-wise, he's going to need that going forward because his three-point shooting percentage is shaky. But he was able to hit it finally.
Well, what's his percentage from the corners? Because that's what I care about. His percentage from the corners. Whenever I look at people play with Bron, I never look at the actual three-point percentage. I just want to know your corner three-point percentage. If your corner three-point percentage is 35, 36, you all good with me.
What do you make of Anthony Davis the first 2 rounds in LA?
What make of what?
Anthony Davis the first 2 rounds of LA.
I think he's been great defensively. I think again, but I think defense is the best thing that AD does, and I think that he's been great defensively, and he's showing how versatile of a defender he is. Like he was guarding Russ on purpose.
Yeah,
on purpose. Like they started the game out with him on a guard, Russell Westbrook, and he's making everything tough down there. He's on a force on the defensive glass. Obviously, AD gonna do what he gonna do on offense. He gonna get his 28 points. Do I love the way it looks all the time? No. He shoots a lot of fadeaways, but if they go in, they go in, man. Like if he making them, he making them. But for me, the thing with AD and the thing with all the Lakers, like I said, defense. If we giving out a DPOY for the bubble, hell, AD probably number 1 and Bron might be number 2.
This is why I was upset.
Bam too.
LeBron James. I don't know if I texted you or Thomas when I was like,
he should have been over Kawhi.
I'm like, LeBron should be a second all-defensive selection.
He should have made over Kawhi. I watched Kawhi play all year, and I'll say that. I don't think Kawhi was deserving of being on the all-defensive team this year. I didn't see Kawhi lock too many people down this year. And also, he just didn't play that many games. And it's not saying Kawhi can't do it. I just didn't see him used in that fashion too much this season. So, yes, I think LeBron James, and I've seen Bron take the challenge against really whoever. I see him take it against guards, against wings, against really whoever. So I can agree with that. I think Bron should have been second team all defense.
And if you want to give Giannis the regular season MVP, fine. Like I have more of a argument with LeBron making second team all defense more than I would with him being MVP. Giannis, LeBron, okay, cool. Give it to Giannis for MVP. But the Lakers won as many games as they did in the regular season because of defense. And you're seeing it in the bubble as well. And it's not just because of Anthony Davis. It's because LeBron rotated, played the passing lanes, and was able to stop people. Like you saw the Bucks get 3 all-defensive selections for whatever reason.
Yeah, I don't know if I was. Yeah, I think Brook Lopez was deserving. I think that. Yeah, I don't know if I can agree with Bledsoe being deserving. I could think of a guard who probably Drew should have probably been over Bledsoe. Drew Holiday should have probably been over Bledsoe.
Did Marcus Smart make first team?
I think so. I think he made first team. He should have made first team if he didn't. I think first team was Ben Simmons and Marcus Smart. Yeah. Ben Simmons, Marcus Smart. I forget who the starting 3 was. Giannis, and then I think Gobert was first team as well.
So this is a Lakers podcast. I'm a Lakers fan. I hate that Marcus Smart is a Celtic.
Because you like Marcus Smart.
Because I love what Marcus Smart brings to a team. He is what I want from Caruso, what I think Draymond Green brings to the Warriors. He does whatever the hell you need him to. Plus, he's not afraid of the moment offensively. He will take 6 threes in a fourth quarter just because he thinks he's Kobe. Marcus Smart thinks he's Kobe, and sometimes it hits. Plus, he's able to lock you up on defense. Like, I could have sworn last night when he blocked that shot, it was goaltending. They ran it back. It was not.
I don't even know what Norman Powell was thinking about. I'm like, bro, you got to go either try to dunk that or pull that out. Hey, he's right behind you, bro. But yeah, you're right. Marcus Smart, Caruso, those guys are the type of guys that do everything else that everybody else don't want to do. Like that boy, he'll die for it. Like he'll box somebody out that's half his size. Like it's just like the small things that those guys do that a lot of players don't do. The PJ Tucker sometimes not the last 3 games, but usually he's one of those guys. Who else is like you said, Draymond Green, obviously Smart, Caruso. Who else is like that?
David Nwaba whenever he's healthy, Pat Bev,
like guys like that who do the things that other players don't want to do. They do all the dirty work.
Yeah, and I feel like KCP, and as much as we killed Danny Green for his lack of 3-point shooting this series, him on the offensive glass was a difference in games 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's because the Rockets weren't boxing out or they were leaking out in transition, but he just seemed to get a tap out or a rebound every single time we needed a score.
I mean, to keep it G, Daniel House not being there had a lot to do with, the offensive rebound. And I know people don't want to hear about Daniel House, but when you play that small, House, I think he averages like 5 or 6 rebounds. You're playing small anyway. You need those 6 rebounds. And he's good with boxing out. Like him and Tuck are usually the guys who run the people and box out even if they can't get the rebound. So a lot of that is like they're not boxing out. They're just not boxing out. But still, he was getting them. Him and Rondo was running that, getting rebounds, grabbing, extra possessions that was turning into points. I think what was it, game 4? They had like 15 second chance points to the Rockets 0 or something like that. So yeah.
See, I don't want to hear about Daniel House though when Blazer fans did not mention Zach Collins or Trevor Ariza not being in the bubble.
I did.
And I don't want to hear about that when we don't have our starting point guard.
You don't.
So if you're going to complain about Daniel House, we don't have our starting point guard. The Blazers do not have this. But Rocket fans are coming up with conspiracy theories about how the NBA wants him home. It seems to me the Rocket fans don't ever hold accountability with why Harden gets sent home. They just try to find reasons why he doesn't perform to Kobe, Jordan, Wade standards.
I mean, it do be some crazy things happening with the Rockets, yo. Like Chris Paul just gets hurt. Like, okay, whatever.
Last year, the concept is James Harden gets sent home.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, but crazy things do happen. Like I said, he gets hurt. The year before was stupid. The year before was dumb. This year, Russ gets hurt. Daniel House decides he's horny mid-series, and now he can't play. Not that they would have won this. Again, I picked Lakers in 6. I just think it should have looked different than the way it looked, in my opinion.
And that could have been fair, but the Rockets shot, I believe, 40% from 3 and outshot the Lakers from the free throw lines in games 2, 3, and 4. Yet lost every single game. So we can
defense.
We can maximize the effort of Daniel House, but
defense was the issue. Defense. They didn't defend. Defense was the issue. When they had periods in which they, even in game 4, when they locked in defensively and put together 5 stops, the league got real short. Then when they stopped defending again, now obviously it was probably too late to catch up by then anyway. It's like 5 minutes left. The clock will probably run out before you eventually take the lead. But even in game 2, when they made the run from 20 points down, they put together some stops and got back in the game. When the Rockets defend, they play well. But when they don't defend, this is what you get.
But Daniel House is not the reason why the Rockets lost the series.
Of course not. No, of course not. Of course not. Defense is. Defense. The team defense in general, which is not good. Defense is.
And that falls on Antony and Harden as well.
It falls on everybody. Everybody. Like even Tuck, who I love. He wasn't even. How you had 3 rebounds, G? How you had 3 rebounds in game 4, G? You did what you there for, G? You had like 0 points and 3 rebounds. What else you there to do, G?
So what I noticed from PJ Tucker were his shoes. I noticed the Kobe's he had on game 4. I did not notice whatever he brought to the team in games 2 through 5. Every single game, I was like, oh shit, Tucker's wearing very nice shoes tonight. And that was the only thing I noticed about PJ Tucker's game the entire series.
And that's not normal Tuck. That's not. If you noticing what PJ his shoes and not how hard he's working, that's the issue. Yep. He didn't have like game 1. I think he had like 10, 12 rebounds.
No, game one, PJ Tucker was basically the reason why we lost.
Yeah, literally, but literally, Tuck is just as important, if not more important than Harden sometimes. Yeah. He has to be the guy to anchor the defense. Rocco was god awful defensively. He was getting cooked the whole series. I'm like, what the hell did we bring you here for? He was getting cooked the whole series. I will give Russ credit. In game 4, Russ was competing defensively. They had him being a free safety. He was actually trying to be decent. Harden did not have the series defensively that he had against OKC. He was bad defensively. Everybody was bad defensively. Nobody was good.
We do not have a Lou Dort on defense or on offense, I would say. We have people that can make shots. We have people that can score the basketball, unlike Lou Dort, who had an out-of-body experience in Game 7. I don't know if that will ever happen again for him. So, like, when people, like, I was wrong with Rajon Rondo, very much so. And this is why I got on you with we don't have Lou Dort. Like, we don't have Lou Dort on the other side as well.
Okay, yeah, but the thing about it is that, like, you can offer resistance. I didn't see much resistance being offered, especially with LeBron. They was letting LeBron drive the paint and do like whatever. Like, I mean something. Like, I saw too many times where he just drove the lane with nobody around. Yo, something.
Yeah.
I think PJ battled with AD, and maybe he got worn down a little bit. Obviously, he's 6'5", 80 is probably, I don't know if he has weight over him, but he's 6'11". But especially with Bron, they just kind of just let Bron run wild. Outside of game 1, they let Bron run wild. I'm like, yo, you got Rocco, you got House was even there for a little while. Tuck, you got guys who should be able to offer LeBron resistance, and I didn't see that.
So what do you think happens game 6 with Rockets or with Clippers Nuggets?
I think the Clippers get it done, but I have said Clippers in 6 in general. Okay. I said Clippers. I said Clippers in 6, Lakers in 6. I said Raptors in 7. I was wrong. And what was the other? Oh, I said Bucks in 6 because I thought that they would beat the Heat. But nah, I think the Clippers will get it done. I think that was a wake up call that they got to come in there and put 48 minutes of great defense together. But also the thing with the Clippers again, I still don't think that they prioritize in defense the way they still prioritize defense. I think that they still prioritize offense over defense, and they're not a great enough offensive team to be able to do that, in my humble opinion. But I think they get it done in game 6.
Why won't they lock in defensively?
I don't know.
Because they seem to have the players that can.
Sometimes it's rotations. Okay. Because it's like not everybody that they play is like Lou just has limitations defensively. He just does. Trez, he seems to have limitations defensively. Like he may get a cool block every now and then, but when you put Trez in the pick and roll, they be whooping his ass in the pick and roll. Then sometimes they was running lineups where they had Reggie Jackson, Trez, and Louis on the court. Also, one thing we cannot discount is consistency. They played with their whole team maybe 17 times. At some point, you think that you not knowing your guys is going to come back to bite you because you just don't know what they're going to do. The one thing that the Lakers have is consistency. They've had pretty much the same team. They really ain't made no trades. They've had the same team. They've guys for the most part have been out there all season. The Clippers haven't. Yeah. So if we talk about, getting funky offensively, one reason it may get funky offensively is because they really ain't played together too much. So I don't know. Like I don't know if it's want to. I don't know if sometimes they think that they're better than what they are. Sometimes I think the Clippers talk about like a championship pedigree, and I'm like, huh?
I think only Kawhi has it. That's it.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa, championship pedigree. Who? Yeah. Kawhi. Yeah, but y'all wasn't on the Raptors last year.
And we know PG 13% wasn't on the Raptors last year.
Like y'all wasn't on the Raptors, so I don't know, man. But like I said, I think they'll get it done in game 6. I can't see this going to 7. And if it does go 7, pray. But I can't see it going to game 7. I think it gets done in 6.
Which is why I'm fine with the Lakers' offensive struggles at times, because everyone they have on that roster that plays is good defensively. And offense might struggle, but if you want to get it down to the winning time, you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on offense. If they can't get it on offense, chalk it up. But everyone they have that plays will play defense. Whereas the Clippers hit or miss sometimes with Lou Will and Montrez, like you said. And when they put Zubac in, sometimes he's an offensive liability as well because he can't stretch the floor.
He can't stretch the floor, but he does
And
have
when he plays against AD, nah, it's just
he can't stretch the floor, but he does have really good hands, and he has been for the most part in these playoffs a solid defender. I actually think he's been one of the most consistent Clippers all playoffs. Usually, most games he's steady, and also he has to play a lot because again, Trey has been getting his. And not granted, obviously Trey did get in late. He was dealing with the death of his, I think grandmother. So I want to be kind, obviously. Like I said, he did get in late. He might have been struggling with his fitness earlier on. He does look a little bit more bouncy now, like he's back to who he was during the season. But even with during the season, he's just not a good defensive player, especially in space. When he has to leave the paint, he's not really good. Zubac, I see him switched on Jamal Murray. He makes him work. Like Jamal Murray might make the shot, but that's because he made a tough shot. He'll make him work. So Zoo to me has actually been one of the most outside of Kawhi consistent Clippers.
And Laker fans will tell you, Zubac was a very talented player for what he was. He was never going to be a star, but the only person I've seen Zubac get cooked by was Chris Paul, and that was it. In the mid-range, Chris Paul sent Zubac to hell, but that's about it. Zubac would roll to the basket, put a hand up when you get to the lane, and get offensive rebounds and put it back up. And the Muscala and Zubac trade was one of the worst trades I've seen Magic and Pelinka put together in my life.
Yeah, who did they trade him for?
Mike Muscala, who plays
out. Yeah. I got the concept. They thought they needed spacing.
No, we thought was we're going to suck the rest of the year, or we're not going to pay Zubac, and that was it. But you go with not paying Zubac to give JaVale McGee money. That's where it got a little. What are you doing here?
I mean, I don't really mind JaVale though. I really don't mind. Like JaVale.
Zubac or JaVale?
Right now?
Yeah.
Zubac.
And that's where it comes down to, because we see Zubac not getting played off the floor, but you see JaVale kind of losing his touch within 5-6 minutes, and you kind of like have to go like, hey, like we got to get him off the court.
I think they might have done that because he's a bigger lob threat.
Yeah.
And you want to, like Zubac isn't really a lob threat. He has great hands, but those are like bounce passes. And you think that he's a lob threat. You put that with Bron. I think they try to give Bron a lob threat consistently. Like Bron has pretty much had a lob threat.
Isn't
I don't know about entire
6. I want to say
no, because Big Z was never a lob threat in Miami. They really, I would say he had one since he came back to Cleveland. Because with Tristan, they always had Tristan that you could throw lobs up to. I really like in like Miami, they didn't really like Joe Anthony. I don't want to say. Well, I mean, you could say
and Chris Bosh.
You're right. Well, see, I don't think Bosh was really a lob threat, but definitely Birdman was. Yeah. Birdman. So I'll probably say since he got to Miami, he's always had like a lob threat with him.
And I'm trying to believe who was on the 2010 Cavs team, but yeah, it's been a while since LeBron's had a lob threat.
Daniel Marshall was on that. It's like Daniel Marshall. Was Shaq on that team, or was that the year before?
Shaq was either on the 2009 team or 2010 team, and I believe I don't know who else was on that team, but yeah, Shaq couldn't jump in 2010.
Shaq there was nothing left. There's nothing left. But yeah, so I'm assuming that was the thinking behind that.
So coming from a Laker fan who thought LeBron could never do it in the West.
Why'd you think that?
Because the West was tough in 2010. We had to go through 50. We had to go through 51 team through 51 team. This has been a hell of a just funny playoff experience watching LeBron dominate and lead my team to a Western Conference Finals. And he's been as good as advertised. LeBron has been who we needed him to be. And I'm glad my Twitter from 2008, 2010 does not exist anymore from those times till now.
Yeah. From watching LeBron, honestly, like I've watched probably since 2014, I probably watched 98% of LeBron games. I've never seen LeBron have this much fun in the playoffs. Like he looks like he's having fun playing basketball. I don't think I've ever seen LeBron have this much fun. Haven't seen it.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. Maybe he feels very confident in his team. Like maybe he feels like, yo, like I really, really got a chance. maybe, playing the Warriors, he always knew like, man, maybe we could get him if we do this. I think that maybe he just probably feels confident in this, in in a team they have. Like, yo, like I really got some guys with me that we could really do something special. Maybe he shares in the moments.
Yep.
He don't have too many years left, like, so maybe he shares in the moments. I don't know, but he looks like he's really, really having fun with the game of basketball right now and just playing.
Is Anthony Davis the most talented player he's played with?
Yes, yes. That's not even a yes.
By far?
Huh?
By far, or is it?
Yes, by far. Okay. By far. Offensively, no. But offensively, it's Kyrie. Kyrie is the most talented player offensively he ever played with. But as far as a total full basketball player, Anthony Davis.
Okay.
He's never played with nobody who could possibly win an MVP when he played with him. D-Wade was not an MVP level player when he played with him outside of that first year.
Who was the MVP this series?
Rondo.
I want to say you can flip a coin between LeBron and AD. Because AD was probably the most impactful player from games 1 through 5, but AD was I didn't even notice AD tonight. I noticed LeBron the entire night, though.
I'm going Rondo because I think that in the games that flipped the series 2-3, Rondo did the things I'll always remember. That charge, I'm telling you, that charge was a huge play. People not going to realize it, but that charge was a huge play. If Russ doesn't pick up that fifth foul, then that means that they can't just single out Russ to go at. And even if they do, Russ still has 2 fouls left. So you think he can offer some more resistance. Not even saying that, he going to stop LeBron, but at least you could grab in, try to steal at the ball. Maybe you poke the ball away, do something else. I thought that was a game changing, a series changing play. And also in game 3, he broke the matrix.
Yep.
The thing is, leave Rondo open.
He had 21-9 game 3 or game.
Yeah, like the thing is always leave Rondo open. Well, they left him open and he made the shots. It's like, well, I guess I got to live with that. But like Rondo made the shots. So I'm actually going. And then also I think Rondo took pressure off Bron. I think that you can allow Rondo to run point guard and even put Bron off ball, and you can get some of those actions and just make the game easier for him, so he doesn't have to always initiate all his offense from 30 feet away from the basket. So yeah, I'm go with Rondo. Like I thought Rondo would make an impact, but I can't even say I thought that he was make the impact that he made. I didn't think it would be that much.
See, I thought he would have a negative impact in the series, and I was wrong. I wanted him to be next to Frank Vogel and Jason Kidd this series.
I mean, Russ, he made it sometimes, but Russ couldn't even dribble.
Yeah, which was nuts to me.
He made it sometimes, but literally Russ couldn't even dribble the basketball. So I'm going with Rajon Rondo. Like Rondo, like I said, I thought Rondo would have an impact. I thought Rondo, was like the missing link in many ways to this Lakers piece. I'm not gonna sit up here and tell you that I thought Rondo would do what he did though.
And I think Rondo and Alex Caruso finally showed they could play next to each other, which hadn't been showed until basically the series. Alex Caruso plays off ball, Rondo plays on ball. Alex Caruso takes the better guard, Rondo plays free safety. They basically complemented each other very well and then picked up each other's weakness, which worked out to the perfect thing the Lakers could have asked for. Markieff, Kuzma, KCP, Danny Green finally learned how to shoot threes again, and it wasn't a series. Like, this was not a series. How many more finally decided to make threes?
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I don't see the Clippers beating this team. I think the series is over in 6.
I think Lakers in 6 too. I'm actually finally on board. I think Lakers in 6 again.
The Lakers will have a size advantage next series as well, and the guards that the Clippers have do not fear me as much as Russ, Harden, Dame, CJ. We have what? Lou Will, Pat Bev, Reggie Jackson. I'm cool. Like I'm fine off that. I don't consider Paul George a guard. He's a forward to me. We have the length to kind of combat that. They don't have any small guards on that team that kind of put the fear of death into me as Harden, Russ, Dame, or CJ did.
I just think consistency, man. Like if you look at who's been the most defensively consistent team, it's been the Lakers. Like it just has been. Like they've been defense. I've seen the least amount of lapses defensively from them. And with the Clippers, it's like I see consistent defensive lapses, but like bad ones though, that actually have them lose games. I think that every team, you go through maybe you might not play, locked in defense for 48 minutes. But those lapses with the Lakers don't lose them games. And I feel like the defense lapses with the Clippers lose them games a lot of the time. So, and again, like I said, consistently, the Lakers have been together pretty much all year. Same team, same guys, texting everything. They've probably, played like 50 games with most of their lineup for the most part. The Clippers, I think this is game maybe 17 or 18 in which they had everybody. At some point, you think that that's going to catch up to you because you just literally aren't that familiar with each other. You haven't got in real game minutes with each other.
So if you're a Laker fan, who do you want to face in the finals? Celtics or Heat?
Heat.
And why is that? Because they don't have as many offensive scoring threats as the Celtics do?
Yeah, the Heat half-court offense sucks. Now, their defense is great. Good. Yep. It's not great. It's good. But at the same time, I don't know if they even have play people who can offer resistance to Bron. Like, I've seen LeBron's work on Jimmy. I've seen LeBron's work on Jay Crowder. Now, I think Bam could maybe do a little bit, but Bam's going to be tied up with AD a lot. And then offensively, I just don't think the Heat are that good offensively. Like, they just aren't that good to me. Like, I've gotten to arguments with people, but like, no, most of their offense is fueled off their defense. When they have to play against set defenses, they aren't really that good. So I would rather face the Heat, but I think that you're getting a Lakers Celtics final, and I think that's incredible for the NBA, incredible for basketball fans, and yeah.
And who do you think wins that series?
What?
Lakers Celtics.
Lakers in 6.
So you, me, and Thomas, we're going to the parade. We're going to be 17.
I'm in there.
All right, that's all I wanted to see. That's all I want to hear, man.
I was never convinced on the Lakers, but like I said, the defense, like I've been tweeting, defense is the key. There's no great, I'll say it again, there are no great offensive teams left in the bubble. All of these teams have flaws offensively, and it gets a little funky at times, and they get patches in which they can't just. There's no Warriors left. There's no Warriors left. There's no Showtime Lakers. There's no Michael Jordan on the Bulls. None of that. And I think the best scorer left is Kawhi, and even sometimes he has limitations. Yeah. So again, I think that all of these teams, it's important that they prioritize defense. So I think the two teams that prioritize defense the most so far have, well, the number one has been the Lakers, and then number two, actually, the Heat.
Yep.
And the Celtics at times, but the Heat.
Yep.
So I'm and the Clippers have not prioritized defense the way that the Lakers have, in my opinion. So I'm going with the Lakers. I'm finally on board with the Lakers winning the championship. I think it can be done, and I think the conference finals is the championship.
Yeah.
Now I don't think. Go ahead.
I'm glad that he gets another day to rest because I don't know if it was tonight or last game. The hips bothering him a little bit more than what he wants to let on to believe. He's not fighting through the screen that he sets to where we kind of lose the lob threat with him because he just doesn't really roll anymore. He just stays at the 3-point line. So I think the extra day or extra 2 days of him resting will be beneficial because the Clippers should have closed out Game 5.
They should have. They should have won Game 5.
So I'm happy they kind of botched that so the Lakers get an extra day.
They might botch Game 6. Who knows? I think that they'll win Game 6, but they might botch Game 6. Who knows? Hell, it might be Lakers Nuggets finals. It could happen.
And that's a series that's over in 4. If we get to play the Nuggets, it's over in 4.
I can agree with that.
Because there's a Jokic AD, I'm good. Like thank you for showing up, but I'm good.
Say Jokic AD, I'm good.
But yeah, any closing thoughts you have on what happened tonight? What happened in the series? Any Harden takes you want to let off before we get off this?
Harden didn't get strapped. He played fine. That wasn't the issue. I know everybody was up on Harden. Harden's offense was not the issue. I saw nothing wrong with nothing Harden did offensively. They decided we don't want to guard nobody no more, and that's why they lost the series the way they lost the series.
But he's also part of that problem on defense.
Yeah, I know. So I'm saying, like, offensively, everybody's like, he did this, he didn't score this. Stop talking to me about what he scored. If you want to talk about his defense, we can discuss that all day. Because all of them, none of them were great defensively. But offensively, that wasn't the issue. Like you said, they're out there shooting fucking 40%. Offense ain't the issue. They was fine. Yeah. Defense was the issue.
Yep. But the best two guards in the league that have ever played, Kobe, Jordan, Wade, they played both sides. So I don't ever want to put Harden in that conversation with those three again.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Harden's 4th on the list.
Over AI?
Yes. Come on, G. Yes, G.
When has Harden ever led his team to the finals?
First of all, AI had hold on. AI had a great team, and that team actually underachieved. They probably should have went back the year before. Well, no. The year after. They had every single award winner. All AI did on that team was score. They had a great defensive team. They locked people up, and on offense was like, you like to shoot 30 shots, here go the ball. That's damn near the type of team Harden need on the lowest of keys.
But Harden has a Coach of the Year winner, another MVP on his team.
G, that man.
You want to say award winners? Harden had MVP.
G, they won it all in the same year. They had the 6-man award year winner. They had the MVP AI. They had the defensive player of the year and the coach of the year. That was a good team, bro. And the early 2000s East is not the West.
All I heard though was Harden didn't make the finals because the Warriors were there.
Okay.
What happened when the Warriors weren't there today?
Bron came, and then they stopped. The pandemic happened, and Bron came.
So why didn't Anthony Davis get that excuse though? Because the only time he got sent home in the playoffs was because of the Warriors.
Yeah, it was like the first round, then the second round.
But he still got sent home.
Also not making the playoffs some of them years too.
I believe the only time they didn't make the playoffs the last 3 years because he kind of said, I'm out. And that was it.
No, they made it in I think it was 2015. I think they missed. And did they miss it in 26? I think they missed it in 2016.
Half the roster was hurt.
Who?
I think half the roster was hurt that year.
No. I think a lot of what went wrong in New Orleans was honestly just injury. Like if they would have been healthy,
Osik and Ajinka, I believe. So they gave money to those players instead of.
They gave money to those players. Also, Eric Gordon looked like he couldn't play anymore in New Orleans because he was always hurt. He go to Houston and has a rebirth. You bring Boogie in. I actually think that Boogie and AD team could have been really special. But then he tears his Achilles. So I think a lot of what happened to AD in New Orleans was just bad luck and injuries.
But if we're giving Harden these passes on losing to the Warriors, give AD those passes, and also notice AD beat Harden when it mattered. I mean, Lakers got to the Final Four. Harden's at home, going home in 5, and then heading to the strip club sometime next week.
He's gotten to the Final Four too, though. Harden's gotten to the Final Four too.
But then got sent home by the Warriors. This time, the Lakers
sent home by the Warriors. I mean, it is what it is, eh?
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see because if Paul George shows up next series, it's going to be a tough series for Laker fans to swallow. Because we hate that man. We legit hate Paul George.
But everybody's definition of PG showing up is different than my definition of PG showing up. I think PG has been fine this series for the most part in every game. Like I care about if PG defends at a high level, doesn't turn the ball over. He can average 19 points. I don't care. They have enough scoring that him averaging 19 points should not deter the series that much. You got like 4 20-point scorers and Marcus Morris. Reggie can get you some buckets. Like, that shouldn't matter. But if he's not going to defend at a high level and not turn the ball over, because, again, they ask him to make plays for people a lot of times because they don't really have a traditional point guard. So he's, a guy who has to also take some playmaking responsibility. For me, defend at a high level and don't turn the ball over, and he's fine. I think everybody judges PG off of points because, again, like I said, that last year was fool's gold. If PG's averaging 28, you're not that good of a team. That's not what he should be averaging. He should be more so be like 23, great defense, elite level defense, and give me some assists.
Yeah.
So again, whoever is the most committed to defense will win the series. Both of these teams have faults offensively, but whoever is the most committed to defense will win the series.
Yep. And tonight, finally, the Lakers showed they can make threes tonight.
They did.
And they also can play defense. So, like you said, it's going to be whoever shows up offensively next series. So I think both teams can tap into a level where it's going to be awful scoring for, I believe, 3 games next series. It'll be 90 to 100 and low hundreds, basically, score-wise.
I would like to see it.
Because both teams have the players to play defense.
I would like to see it.
It'll be interesting to see what happens next series. You and I both believe the Lakers will win that series, and hopefully we're both right, because I need to see 17 happen this year. After everything that's gone terribly for the Lakers since 2010, we need that shit to happen.
I feel you. I would also like to live in Los Angeles when the Lakers win a title. I want to experience what that's
like. You said, when the Lakers win a championship, not when the Clippers, because who cares if the Clippers win it?
I want to what would happen if the Clippers win it? Like, what would the city do? Like, where would the parade be? How many people would be at the parade?
They'd probably get booed. Like, I'm just being honest. There'd probably be Laker fans lining up just to boo them.
That's funny as hell. I could see it happening.
Whereas the Lakers win, it's just Laker fans going out there just to celebrate their team.
Fair.
And I think that's what the city of LA needs. And we'll see if that actually happens. Before we get off, tell people where to catch you, to catch your songs at, and to get your plug in before you take off.
As always, man, follow me on Twitter at Pavy World. That's Pavy World, all one word. If you guys want to go listen to my music, you can listen to it at pavverbs.com. That's PA-verbs. That's all one word as well. .com. I just felt like rapping too is my newest thing out. It's on all streaming services. Go check that out. And yeah, man, appreciate you for having me on. Hey,
no problem. And to this day, the funniest rap verse you have is it was pulling up in transition like Klay Thompson. That doesn't have rap verses from any people like I know. Because anytime you think of Klay Thompson pulling up in transition, it's just wet.
I said, what I say? I said, when I text, he pull up like Klay Thompson in transition.
Yeah, that's funny as shit, because that's what you want when you send that text.
That's what you.
That is exactly what you want.
That's what you want. All right, man. I'll holler at you, bro. All
right. See you, man. All right, again, so this has been Daniel Beltz from King Watch LA. Thank you guys all for watching this, and I'm glad we sent that team home. Fuck the Rockets, fuck D'Antoni, fuck Harden. And I know I'm supposed to be like cursing less, but I just do not like that team. And yeah, I'm just happy that we're going on to the Western Conference Finals. We have 8 more wins to go until we reach what we want to accomplish. And yeah, make sure you guys follow on Twitter with King Watch LA. Make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube / HNB Media TV. That's where all these videos will be coming out, as well as every other person pushing out content on Hoops and Brews. I'll probably never be this drunk again on a podcast. It's just we sent Mike D'Antoni packing. I hate Mike D'Antoni because 7 seconds or less, the Suns-Lakers series in the 2000s, hiring D'Antoni over Phil Jackson, D'Antoni's wife sending shots. I hate that man. I hate Harden because Harden fans want to put Harden in that conversation with Kobe. So this will be as happy as I get sending someone home until we get 17. I hate that team. I just hate how they're made up. I hate their fabric of a team. So that's why I've kind of allowed myself to just be kind of ready for the slander sent their way, and I'm happy that it's finally sent their way. I'll probably see you guys within the next 2-3 days with the Lakers Clippers precast preview of the episodes, and until the next time we speak, go Lakers. And thank you guys all for watching, and subscribe on Patreon, drop a like, drop a comment, whatever. Hit me up on King Watch LA Twitter. Send me an invite so you guys can be on the next episode. There's going to be a raffle or some kind of fan thing where you guys can be on the next episode. So we will see where that goes. And yeah, we're going to go ahead and see you guys next time. Peace, guys.